In this video, I'm about to share with you why you should never trust the words "for informational purposes only." You ready? Let's go.
Now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
I'm get on the TV, mama. I'm unbeatable, y'all. Let's go.
An inspection is the biggest hurdle in any real estate transaction, right? Because the buyer has all of the leverage to back out of the deal pretty much for whatever reason they want. During that inspection phase, which is usually anywhere between 5 and 10 days, that buyer can walk away from that real estate deal because they find something wrong with the house or they just change their mind. So during this time frame, as a seller or as a listing agent, you're basically on pins and needles waiting and praying that the buyer doesn't walk away from the deal. So in today's market, it's competitive, and this wasn't always the case. Sometimes there's a chance where you might be the only offer on the table. And if you're a buyer, you definitely want a home inspection. As a seller, it's just another way that the buyer can walk away from the deal. So in today's market or in a competitive situation, there are a lot of cases where buyers are submitting their offer and they're removing the home inspection. And if you have a multiple offer situation and one offer has a home inspection, the other offer doesn't have a home inspection, which one are you going to choose as a seller? You're going to choose the offer without the home inspection, right? Because it's an easier transaction. You don't have to worry and wait and wonder if that buyer is going to walk away from the deal. So what have the real estate agents done out there? As they always do, they get creatively sneaky. Real estate agents get creatively sneaky, and what they've done is they put a home inspection in an offer, but they try to mirage it with these words of "for informational purposes only." It's an inspection, but it's for informational purposes only. What does that really mean? It really means you're trying to bullshit. That's what it really means. It really means you're just trying to dress it up. You're trying to camouflage the actual inspection that is still a contingency. So just be aware of that for listing agents if you're considering an offer with these words on it that are so poetically given to you. Inspection is for informational purposes only. It sort of makes it seem less threatening. It's an inspection still, but it's for informational purposes only. Where I've found this countless times, a seller accepts this offer for informational purposes only, and the buyer still walks away from the deal, or they still want to negotiate the deal. And as a listing agent or as a seller, you can say, well, wait a minute, this was for informational purposes only. And the buyer still walks away and still wants to renegotiate. And if they have a deposit on the table, it's only a first deposit. And sometimes that can be as little as $1,000. So buyers are almost willing to walk away from the deal because they only have $1,000 at stake. So in the situation where you are forced or don't have any other options but to accept an offer with informational purposes only, try renegotiating that first deposit up so they have a little bit more at stake. Instead of $1,000, maybe it's $5,000, where they're going to think twice about walking away from a deal if there's more money on the table. And if you're a buyer's agent, yeah, you want to protect your buyer and you want to put some creative language in there, inspection for informational purposes only. Make sure you're adding the language that your buyer still reserves the right to walk away from that transaction. Because if I'm a listing agent and you're doing the inspection for informational purposes only and you get the inspection and you want to walk away or renegotiate, I could say, well, you have your information and that was the purpose of the inspection. So let's not talk about renegotiation because I'll see you at the closing table. Purchase and sales is on its way. And you're like, well, wait a minute. So if the buyer still wants the option to walk away from the deal, make sure you're putting that on top of informational purposes only. And as a seller, as a listing agent, let's not be fooled by informational purposes only, because it's really just there to camouflage and dress this inspection up in a nice little pretty bow so you'll accept it. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, right? It's still a pig. You have to know what that is and accept it for what it is and negotiate for what it is. Don't just think that just because it says it, it's good all of a sudden. It's still bad. It's still a bad contingency. It's still not favorable for the seller side, at least. So I want you guys to know that. I want you guys to understand that, and maybe it'll help you guys on your next transaction. Hopefully this video helped. If you want to watch some other content on this channel, do me a favor and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.